keep going till my speakers can't blow. I'll keep going till my speakers can't blow. I'll keep going till my speakers can't blow. I'll keep going till my till my speaker calm. I'll keep going till my speaker calm blow. 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 Till my speaker calm. I'll keep going till my speaker calm blow. I'll keep going till my speaker calm blow. I'll keep going till my speaker calm blow. I'll keep going till my speaker calm blow.
Sometimes you gotta pray for a victory. Yeah, I'm overzealous when I'm thinking about the cash flow. I never had no handouts, just came natural. I've been testing so much, all these restless nights, all these different situations that I've been through. I seen pain trying to creep in through the window, but now I'm sliding through the hood in a Benzo. You gotta separate yourself just to elevate. I keep some drink in my cup to see through the hate. Sometimes on the road to glory, you gotta press the brakes. I got a lesson plan for all my past mistakes. I swear I'm proud of all my best and my worst days. Proud of all my feet when I touch the ground. Front of 8 at Beijing, man, they know the sound. I know I made mistakes, but my mama proud. Fans scream my lyrics out in the background. They ain't know me then, but I'm hot now. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. Life down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. I'm faced with a lot of different choices these days. Do a rock and Rolex account or blue face. The whole world know my name off a mixtape. I still got the same brother since 6th grade. G-Wagon, red seats, we on Biscayne. Trips to the Florida Keys, we imported these. Thanking God for the life he afforded me. All this jewelry on my body, I could like the hood. I need a brown skinned chick just like Megan Good. Holding up every promise that I ever made. Music in the background, it's a serenade. Been rapping 10 years, boy, this ain't a phase. I paid dues, paid rent, and I stayed the same. I had teardrops running down my face. I've been through a lot, I had real pain. But thank God, cause we really on the better days. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. Life down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. What's a life without sacrifice? Sometimes you gotta thank God and just roll the dice. Pacino.
The road to the top is a riddle. What will be my destiny? Money and fame are awaiting, but not enough is raining on me. Maybe I should give it all up. How much more can I take? Out here singing to the heavens. When I gonna get my break? I can run this town. Oh. I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. How will I get out of the jungle? Everybody wanna stop me. 10 more steps up the mountain. Now everybody's looking for me. Spend my life in the desert till
is a shakedown. Order up that beat just like it's takeout. Show me you got soul inside those new shoes, and you can rock and roll with an attitude. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. You're the new MC, you got the remix. Keep it on repeat, just let the beat kick. Everywhere you go, you bring the roof down. Everybody knows you got your own sound. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. Yeah, you like it, the way you like it. Oh, yeah, you like it, the way you like it now. Yeah, you like it, the way you like it. Oh, so good, so fresh. Get up on your feet. Show me you got soul. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. Just the way you like it. The way you like it. So good, so fresh. Get up on your feet, this is a shakedown.
We almost had this.
Thank God it's over.
Bored of endless matchmaking? Take your first step towards ECL, experiencing real strategies against teams of your skill. Learn more at fce.gg/ECL.
ESL presents ESL Challenger League in partnership with Intel, Acer Predator, DHL, and Kidia.
Welcome back to Season 50 of the ESL Challenger Cup. We're going to be heading into the Asia Pacific Cup number 2 as we try and figure out who will be joining Lin Vision in the regional finals. I'm T-Time, joined by Michael, Yumi, Cassidy as we head to the lower bracket final. It'll be Rare Atom versus the Huns as Rare Atom fell down yesterday. The Huns fell down earlier on.
Yeah, the Rare Atom squad definitely have high expectations given that they were the runners-up against Lin Vision in that first cup in the ESL Challenger League Season 50, and for them to have a second swing at things and find themselves in that lower bracket is probably not what they expected, especially when, you know, we talked about some of the difficulties that the Chingas Warriors can have and have been having given the roster moves. Even if there are some very strong pieces on that team, you did expect that maybe there would be some extra mileage from the stars of Rare Atom that really didn't display that much stardom when we got into the server.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how they can fare over here. Yesterday, of course, Rare Atom was playing with Marek. We do not have confirmation about whether Kazi will be joining us today or not, so there is that small bit of spice, I guess.
Bit of a caveat.
Yeah. That being said, the Huns actually lost out to a team with some known players. You're looking at Ronin Baby, Lan, Bingo, players like that from the Chinese region, but it really was largely a stack, so it was slightly surprising to see them fall down so early on. It gave Chingas Warriors a much cleaner pathway to that grand finals, and the Huns hope to reunite with their countrymen over there. Rare Atom, of course, is also going to be hoping to get some revenge, so it is a lot on the line as we head into the final stages of the Asia Cup. Lin Vision having already qualified, as we mentioned, there will be 4 teams who will compete from 4 cups. The champions of all those 4 will then be chosen from to have a selection from Asia to go forward to the ESL Pro League, as is always the case.
Yeah, no, it's a good way to promote the teams that have been clamoring and vying for position, and it's all about VRS, it's all about position, getting yourself into bigger tournaments. That's what every team from this region, especially if you're not in the graceful position that Tyloo and the Mongols are, where you actually are in that range currently.
Yeah, and look, when we're looking over towards these teams, when it comes to the Huns, Rare Atom and Chingas Warriors, of course today it's a lot more about Rare Atom and the Huns. These guys are on the cusp of making it forward, and every single placement that they can get is going to be critically important to also prepare them for the major potentially. Rare Atom is, I believe after this tournament, they're going to be right outside of invite territory if they do not win it, but the Huns are almost guaranteed to be going to the major. It's going to be one of the first times that we see 9 and score back at the major after their initial showings with the then, I believe it was IHC lineup and whatnot. So it's going to be a lot of exciting stuff, and these guys do not want to lose domestically as they look to book tickets abroad as well. It's going to be interesting though for me, because the Huns, one of the narratives that I'm really looking forward to for the rest of the season is eventually seeing our Kadia player to watch score back on LAN later on as well. Right now it's still online, but this guy has had a real redemption arc.
Yeah, I mean, I love that we've been able to watch Score through many different pieces of his career, because he's definitely been a star that showed up, everyone was very excited about, and then he got removed from the team that he had a breakout with, and everybody was a little confused, and kind of since then he's been bouncing around, and it did really feel like there was a brief period where he'd lost a bit of that confidence, that star level, and then for the past, I'd say, 18 months, it has really re-emerged, and he's starting to display what everybody was so excited about with him as a player to begin with. So to have found himself into the second, I'd argue, second best team that Mongolia has to offer, and with kind of relinking back up with 9, I do think this is a good step for the team to make that elevation. And yeah, if they make it to the major, that will also be another exciting opportunity.
It's kind of cool to see Nine having had a step back up in numbers as well. Of course, we know that he's always been a man who can farm down in the lower tiers, but it did feel like in the first season of the year, the Huns fell down badly, and it felt like it came off the back of Nine's temperament and his ability to call at times, as well as the rest of the team just crumbling a little bit more around each other. You think back to the loss they had in the RMR, and then after that it was all downhill, crashing and burning out of ACL as well and whatnot. This is a very different looking Nine and company to what we had in the first half of the year.
Well, it was also something that we were noting is that, listen, they're a fairly young team. I mean, the Huns, when it comes to, LAN experience and dealing with losses and dealing with down periods, they actually weren't that experienced when it came to that. And so, that's where the pivot into a player like Score that was always a little bit more headstrong and maybe almost had too much confidence at times, actually is probably a good way to counterbalance that, because when there are creeping doubts and you enter these rows of despair, you need a player like that.
Absolutely, and he's been a great addition. We've got the veto on the screen for you guys. No surprises, Ancient being picked up by the Huns as they didn't have access to Nuke Atom, of course, using that as a permaban. Rare Atom continue picking into Mirage, even though we did have some disasters yesterday. I'm interested to see whether they're able to still bring things together and overpass as the decider.
Yeah, no, I mean, the maps are fine. I may be a little surprised that the Huns have banned out the Dust 2, because I don't think I've seen any sort of massive alarms being raised about the Huns and how they perform on that map. Maybe during that down period, it was a little tough to watch, but I think they're also maybe giving some respect over to that Rare Atom side. I think if I'm the Huns and I'm looking at the game that Rare Atom played last time, I'm hoping that Marek is still on the server. I would have angled for the Dust 2. But we have the maps decided. We have all 3 maps on screen. And I'm excited to get into Ancient when we get there. But before we do that, gotta throw it to a break. We'll be back in just a moment.
Ancient will be our first battlegrounds. The Huns, of course, picking it for themselves. I have to say, I'm really enjoying the fact that this is a team that's been willing to let Overpass be picked into them and go to the deciders very regularly. They've really been able to pay off with the veterans who they have. I'm surprised they haven't been picking it more rather than opting into their Ancient, which has been slightly more questionable territory at times.
Yeah, no, I mean that's definitely a justified stance. I think it's interesting that we are moving into this game, and we will still be having Marek playing with the Rare Atom squad. Which people will look at Marek and think, wait, who? He's been out of the conversation for a little bit, but old in-game leader of Wings Up, and linking back up with Child King, which is where he had some of the best years of his career, in fact.
Well, Child King starts off incredibly strong, and he wants to go for more. This was very rare. Adam was able to find a lot of damage yesterday on Ancient. It was the B lane. Tiger comes in. Cobra Zera is down. Zeralt and Score still fighting back. And it's only Zeralt and 9 now left. 2 versus 3. Not a lot to work with. That CT smoke in next to 9 is, rather next to Zeralt, is also going to be running out very soon. So, it is 9. Sorry. Early days in the minimaps. 9 takes point. Someone on the other side. Easy, clean headshot. Great control from Rare Atom.
Yeah, nothing bad about how Rare Atom approached that at all. And I love that they're willing to be aggressive. I think that's something that we can be critical about Rare Atom and have been in certain instances where, especially with players like Tiger that can be quite imposing, like Child King that, has quite a high capacity. Honestly, even Li Hang has been quite aggressive at points, but when you are missing a key piece of your roster, you have to be able to compensate. I think there were positions where Marek was in the right spots, but he's the assistant coach. He's not expected to play up to standard, and we often see teams when they have a stand-in be more aggressive to make use of that type of a player.
That's head coach business right there.
Yeah, you have to know that you're not in fighting form, and so you have to take the game into your own hands a bit. But all three of these maps are maps where the AWP can be quite an influential factor, and Tiger has been AWPing a lot, but being able to have Kaze as that secondary is an added versatility that Rare Atom may not be able to express given Kaze is not with us. So maybe that's what the Huns are angling for. On this force buy, though, they've been trying to poke and probe around the map, but Rare Atom have kind of put their foot down. Double presence was main, they have B lane control, and with the 40 seconds left, the Huns will try and make their way into A.
Right, nice and right. Oh, brought down immediately by his roll and his aggression. It's going to be a problem for Child King. The flashes aren't fantastic. The ones who are all being blind doesn't make this any easier. Child King gets himself one, makes it two through the smoke. The A4 really being put to full use. The bomb will still go down. 2v4 though, everyone coming in through Donut is not a great idea. Rare Atom decide to split up, go back in. But the problem is there could be a player in CT already. Child King's turning away from the potential flashbang. No, it's a re-smoke. And it's still Score inside of it. He can move past that, but he's bumping booties inside that smoke. And now Score's the only one left. Comes in for the backstab. Li Hang turns around at a whim and will deal with him. So despite the bomb play, despite the good entry, the Huns aren't able to get too much more beyond that.
Yeah, and maybe if they gotten a couple more kills, they could have really strained this Rare Atom economy, but the fact they get themselves into an after plant, it's at least a winnable scenario prior to them getting into the 2v4. It's a cute idea there from Score. But I think Li Hang bumped into him inside of that smoke and realized he should have emerged a little quicker than he actually did. So all's well that ends well. The Huns get the extra money from the plant, and Rare Atom are allowed to build money on this CT side. They've gone in for another force buy. I don't like this. I mean, the money is still good enough here on Rare Atom that even if they win this force buy, there will be pretty solid weaponry for Rare Atom in response. Yeah. Didn't do enough damage in the last round to, I think, justify this route, but maybe the Huns can still pull away with a victory.
Great timing for Cobra. He's able to find Child King and put him down. Summer looks to replace. Summer will be getting aggressive, and Cobra did look like he had the angle, but can't get the kill.
Tiger does give over a sound cue on that A-bomb site, and with Zeralt working that extremity, does have teammates alongside him, so if they were to make their move, they've got the smoke that is supposed to land in Donut, but it simply doesn't. So Tiger still has the sight line over towards this A site, and he can play around alongside it. Marek right behind him, and with that MP9 playing up close and personal, they all line up for Marek to simply clean up. It's a 4K from in-game leader and assistant coach Marek on A.
I would like to inform everyone about Rare Atom's permanent fifth player. It is Marek. He will be taking on all-star roles. Connector in Anubis, in Mirage, in anywhere else that has a connector, even if there isn't that map in the pool anymore. It's Marek's place now.
Yeah, I mean, that's
How
great.
much are they going to invest? This is stupid.
I really don't know why they are continuing to force buy.
They're leaving a little bit of money behind, but really it's not fantastic. It's going to be Score, though, who starts off with a kill, and maybe I'm the stupid one. I don't think I am, I'll be very honest. Not in this case at the very least, but Cobra as well will add a couple of IQ points into the mix, I guess.
This is why I always avoid calling anything stupid. Foolish, brave, bold, but stupid. There ain't nothing stupid in Counter-Strike. You can make anything work.
Tell that XQC.
Hell, you can make it work. I'm not saying it, it's not optimal.
Tiger has all the responsibility on his shoulder right now. He needs to get this first shot in, and when he misses, it's Summer comes through to give him one more chance. Tiger's re-peek into Cave is going to be critical. Instead, he turns back to ramp. It's Summer to take over the mantle, and Summer's doing a fantastic job of it. 2 critical kills that allows Tiger for another peek in. So despite the Huns coming through and looking like they'd got all the entries they needed, it's still going to be a tough time for score. 1v2, Tiger stays hidden away. Marek is being, well, flashed up just a little bit, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, Marek will close things down.
Okay, I'm being deeply serious here, and the buying decisions are one thing, but you're in a 5v3, you've seen the AWP, and you know that there's a player long. You have a player in red room that can cut rotates. Why wouldn't you go A? You have a lot of time on the clock. It's not like they were doing this in the last 20 seconds of the round. The Huns, with some curious buying decisions, and then also making that call in a 5v3, it's unusual. I would just say I wouldn't... These are far from optimal choices that the Huns are making currently.
Would you say it's foolish?
I would say it's foolish.
Bold?
Not less bold.
Well, they're already into the bomb site, and that is bold. Rolled with the critical entry, but Lihang trades. Lihang does more than just that. This man is a master on the B bomb site. Marek is able to come in and add one more. He's been pretty consistent on these rotates. That gives Child King and Tiger no reason to falter in this 2 versus 2. They've had utility for days, and the only advantage the Huns have is the advantage of togetherness. HE to Bartek's side, his hip is fractured. That won't stop him from pulling a trigger if Child King comes through the smoke. Retake suddenly becoming a little bit more tricky. Post plant positions are good, but the duck out, a dodge for Bartek. He's going to be able to keep himself alive, and now Child King knows that the second player should be around the corner. Bartek continues to spray in through the smoke. He's using it as cover for himself rather than a deterrent. The flash does nothing because we've already seen Cobra Zero avoided, come in from behind, spot out the flying man, and Child King can get the kill, but he can't get the round out. This is going to be the Huns starting things off on the scoreboard. Bartek, can he take it down in time? Child King is going to get the defuse. Huns can't get anything going their way.
I didn't quite realize, and I don't know that Bartek knew either, but there was that second smoke on the bomb itself. I thought the smoke at ramp might have been misplaced, but then being able to have that second bomb on the defuse as well, even with Child King leaving very little room, very little margin for error, he's been able to whisk that round away just courtesy of the fact that out from one smoke into another, Bartek cannot line him up to get him off the defuse. That is that's a pretty heartbreaking way to lose the round. Because positionally, in the after plan,
it's great.
It was Cobra, right? And
yeah, Cobra
playing from long. I mean, he played his spot perfect. His timing was great. He dodged every flash. He took his timing. He understood what Atom were doing at all times. And they still lose the round. That's tough.
Oh, dear Liang. He's turned away for the sake of his flashbang. Cobra doesn't get the full finisher, but then HE will give him an opportunity to go through that smoke, and he decides to go through it anyway. He's a hunter.
Yeah, I knew he couldn't run away. There was a Molotov at the entrance to cave, so even if he tried to evacuate because he was tagged earlier on, he would just succumb to the flames. And it also meant that reinforcements couldn't come in to help him. Usually when that type of action has happened, Summer is very quick to react, but simply couldn't. Now with smokes down on this B bomb site, there will be open runway here for the Huns to get themselves into an after plant and get that bomb down. There is an HE that Summer has that can whittle down these players inside of the site, but it does nothing to actually stop or, do too significant a damage to these players actually dedicated to the site itself. but they've got solid after plans. But even with that, the Incendiary flushing these players to force themselves into fights. Cobra just left inside of Cave, and they're waiting for this flank to activate, but they're losing members on the site. By the time that Score gets into the action, Tiger is now turning back to try and address that flank, and they can simply stick the defuse. It's not planted for Score. It'll be Marek on cleanup duties. 11-2, but importantly, Rare Atom still flawless on this CT start.
Summer does a really good job over there of being able to get information through the smoke. That Incendiary that starts everything off out towards default is thrown because he's seen that the corner player had moved to default after that HE was thrown as well. So Marek gets the perfect utility lineups. After that, I mean, you're seeing the peek from Child King into Cave. There's no actual defense from 9 coming up from ramp either, right? There's not really a crossfire attempted to be established because he's too far back. They're waiting for a Score, and then while they're waiting for a Score, duels just become individual. The bomb wasn't even planted for Score, so it wouldn't have mattered. And now it's Child King to start things off onto 9, an immediate kill, and Rare Atom, I mean, things are going from bad to worse to I don't have a label for this.
Yeah, they are getting picked to pieces. Wanted to go for, I think, a fast A split, but even if they did do that, the bomb was in spawn. So couldn't have actually gone that quick. The Huns ain't hunting, you know?
Yeah, I'm with you.
While on the other side of things, Rare Atom
are very rare.
Have been cunning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
or maybe you'd say they're atomic, but
no.
Mark's been giving us a bit of a rare performance, so I have to say.
Yeah, just needed one warm-up game, and now he's the GOAT.
Like, bro, bring Chinga's Warriors now. Show me Chinga's Warriors.
Well, I would, given the way that the Huns have been playing so far, I would, dare I say, the Chinga's Warriors would prove a more complicated foe.
The Huns might be proving you wrong about your statement of the second best team out of Mongolia.
I really did think they were for a while. I mean, and then...
I mean, this, to be fair, is still just looking like a little bit of a crumble in many different ways, but maybe their half buys / hero buys can still give them something. The problem is, in a couple of these rounds, the Huns do put themselves in a good position for the post plant as well, and then they overcomplicate things so much. This doesn't feel like one of those rounds where they're going to get to a post plant. Not without some crazy shots being hit.
Well, the other way this really goes wrong for Rare Atom is if they start walking into them, and, well, Child King is exploring that option, and even with the flashes, does seem that the Huns are able to track him down. So back to a 4-on-4. I thought Li Hang might have been the one to instigate, given how close he was to that cave smoke, or cheat up. But with that one death onto Child King, they've reacted rather substantially towards this A-bomb site.
The Huns aren't moving.
Yeah, there's really no reaction from the Huns in response.
They throw the CT smoke to fake out and see if there's any responses. All they're hoping for is for a push down middle to come, but Rare Atom in a 4v4 with 40 seconds and 2 players already on the A side, they're not moving. They feel comfortable.
Yeah, they reset back into a 2-2 split as well.
And it's going to be more than just that. Mark starts to rotate as well. Summer's ready to provide the spam, and it's going to be Li Hang to strike through. Li Hang coming in from behind. Could have even pushed the smoke. Now he does do so. It's a good adjustment from Score to allow the bomb to be planted. Another one of these post-plant situations. Can they find anything from it? They've all got Kevlar. They've got enough rifles to have a real advantage in this as well. But Bartek's the only one with head armor. These M4s are going to be incredibly deadly. The boost up as well. Bartek's been dealt with. Marek continues to be a menace on these retakes. Now swinging wide will spot out the boost. It's 2 players aside, and it's going to be Summer looking to stick out the defuse. He knows the time was against him, but I'm surprised they don't go for the swing earlier on, really relying on Tiger to hit a shot that never came through. The Huns find their first.
Yeah, they really took their time with it, and you know, for a moment there, it did look like they were just going to stagger out and stagnate into a round loss just by not giving themselves enough time to work with. But you know, a large part of the reason they didn't spring into B or start investigating it is that the 2 people that were close to it had a Glock and a Tech 9, and the 2 rifles were in middle, kind of dilly-dallying. So maybe a lifeline here for the Huns, and just off of that 1-round win, they immediately go for a fight mid-floor. Go 2 for 1 in their exchange. They'll be very satisfied with how it starts, but maybe not how it finishes, because Score's ascent up to B lane is met by a trade. Li Hung, that counteraction down ramp, has brought it back to equilibrium.
Yeah, taking a chance of a hair, and that chance is not going to pay off. It's ding for dink, and we all know how that goes. Going to leave Tiger, who's had a drier game, to be the only person who is in position to defend A. Tiger decides he doesn't want that position. He'll be coming back over. Brings it to a 2v2 though. And if they can recognize that Zeralt was rotating away, this should be a fast pick of the pace back to A.
Yeah, they come to that realization a little delayed, but Bartek has great deep spot in through CT, and so this should just be a save now for Tiger. $400 in reserve. AWP, he will want to hold on to this for a round to follow. Love the change of pace. I mean, this is the thing that's been curious about the way that the Huns have started in a lot of this game so far is, you know, I would agree that in sort of mid to late rounds, they've been doing a decent enough job getting into winnable positions, but from in the start of every round, pretty much, bar this one, they have gone for fairly independent swings or chances taken. And they still do take a risk. You know, Zeralt, if he doesn't get that kill inside of Cave, their options become far more limited. They will have to continue with just a simple A route and hope that there's nobody there. But the important thing is that they started with an opener where there was more than one player just going for a pick, and there was a trade set up as the fallback. And so it's a great way for them to sort of chain that momentum that they get off of a half-buy straight to back-to-back round wins.
Who would have thought that the team giving us the first eco of the game would be for Atom, even if that eco is a half-buy in many ways. Only rifle they have purchased is brought over from the last round. Tiger will have the spotlight on him for good reason. The Huns, though, they are creeping completely as a caterpillar would all the way up in through B, but can they metamorphose into a butterfly? They're looking for their 5 rounds in the first half. The flashes aren't always the best, but Bartek still undeterred, pushes forward. Liang with the recovered AK, good for 1. Bartek takes a bit of damage in there as well. Marek swinging out of the smoke, feeling confident after the half that he's had, but there's only so much you can do coming in to score his crosshair like that. Child King recovering the AK, goes out for the duo. Bartek is down. 9 with the AWP, will be able to collect on the shot, and Tiger, who's been yet uninvolved, might continue to be just that. The only player to have taken a rifle forward and no opportunities for a duel were found. Could just stick it out with the smoke and the kit. He's ready for this one, but not away from the spammable position. You could have seen that work otherwise.
Yeah, he also, I think, just barely got spotted before the smoke bloomed. So even if that smoke had covered him, Score had a very understandable lineup as to how to deal with that. Thought there was even a chance that he might just sit on top of the bomb, see if the Huns run away, and then try and ninja it, but did not go that route, and so the Huns continue with their winning ways. 3 in a row. They had a pretty dismal start, but finally started to get that engine roaring. Good flash, Summer full blinded, and right behind him, the attempted trade from Li Hung will not be successful. Zeralt actually pulls out a Molotov, but has a teammate behind him that secures a following up Leon wanted to stick around, and, well, he messed around and found out.
Never the best feeling. Tag under Tiger as well. In the meanwhile, it was Nine to be watching out for any aggression. It's aggression from Child King that goes unpunished, though. Zerolf just crouch peeks forward. Tiger has not been having a game right now. And Score even catching a fantastic timing. Child King not ready for a second late lurk in the middle. It's Marek, the last man standing, and not for very long. Rare Atom are probably going to have lost 5 in a row after the dominant start they had.
Yeah, this is not how I thought this game would develop whatsoever. It felt like we were getting a very flat, disjointed... Honestly, didn't even really feel like the Huns were communicating with each other, really. Which is why it was quite an odd way for the game to start playing out. And now we're getting these small bits of team play that I expect from the Huns. You know, whether that's these flash plays to set up some of the opening duels instead of just players going headstrong into them. Players setting up for trades. They're playing off of one another, but so are Rare Atom. They want to be aggressive with the lackluster weaponry, and they succeed in overperforming even with lackluster weaponry. They find 3 openers, make that 4, in fact. In the blink of an eye, 9 is left alone, and this won't be a 7-5. This is going to finish likely 8-4, unless 9 converts a full 1-on-5.
Feels a little bit unlikely, as many highlights as we have seen from him at times. Think back to a Deagle, but hey, it is with his preferred weapon at the very least, but it's going to be Rare Atom who are not holding their breath at all. They'll be pushing in through that smoke. Leon comes in with a backstab. Rare Atom secured themselves an incredibly comfortable first half, but you see signs of worry. Will they continue into the second? Let's find out after a break. signs of life, and I have to say surprisingly so for the Huns, but that doesn't stop Rare Atom from getting to 8 in that first half. An incredible half, initially spurred on by Marek and his shenanigans, but really later on it did feel like Child King and Lihang brought themselves into play as well. Cobra Zara, strong start to the second with a quick kill and a recession.
Yeah, he can fall back into the loving arms of Bartek, who can hopefully cover his retreat, and will succeed in doing so. Doesn't even have to fire off a bullet. Just was spotted in a headshot on the jump peak from Rare Atom, and they decided they did not want to pursue that measly trade attempt. So this will be pretty much a vacuum 5-on-4 here for the Huns. They'll have to keep their wits about them, even if players were spotted outside of A. Given how much room is available for the Rare Atom squad to re-navigate the map. They won't want to take too many risks. Oh, okay, that's really, really unfortunate. They have...
Bartek's arms weren't that loving, apparently.
Yeah, I just don't
Nipped
know.
on him. Went out to get milk and never came back. Bartek, come on, don't leave me.
It's one way for Rare Atom to get a trade.
Well, 4v4 and not in a way that the Huns wanted to see. Score will still be able to come through with an immediate kill. He's going to find revenge for the man who went out for milk, and not just once, but twice. Nine's death quickly has been traded as well, and Cobra Zero is now going to be hot on their heels, coming in from behind 3 versus 2. The swing from Zeralt will still get a frag. Marek had to play cover. Now still Cobra Zera spotted out and hurt as he's trying to get the spams on. Marek with a flashbang recovered is going to be looking to buy time and space. The smoke now down. Score wants to push through it with the dualies he's picked up. He's just going to go sit on the diffuse. Marek's going to swing eventually. Time is on his side, but Score puts himself off the diffuse fast enough, and he will have the round secured.
Yeah, I mean, there was always going to be a danger with the way that Marek decided to play that. I mean, the flash was one thing to try and get him some room and some space to reposition because he put himself in a corner, but then the smoke that followed it up, I mean, that does allow a simple enough transition to the bomb site there for Score, and with those dualies he picked up, even if Marek showed his face and then tried to disappear into the smoke, Score would have very likely hounded him down, had the advantage. We will wait for Bartek to rejoin us. Don't know where the guy went. It wasn't necessary, ultimately, for the Huns to come away with the round win.
That's a little bit harsh, but hey, I mean, you know, I guess, yeah.
His presence was enough.
Well, we're going to have to go to a break while we figure things out on the Bartek front. I'm going to take a quick flight over to Ulaanbaatar and be back in just a bit, guys. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. All right, I'm back in, guys. Back from Ulaanbaatar. I've fixed Baltic's PC. I gave him some tips as well, so if he dies 3 times in a row, that might be on me.
And if he crashes again, it still might be on you.
All right, these tickets are getting expensive, guys. Let's not do that.
You decided to put yourself in the firing line.
Cobra might be doing that himself soon as well. They want to take control over B lane quickly, but they do not realize aggression is coming into A. There's 3 players from Mirage who are getting ready to push in. It could quickly overrun Bartek. There is no close rotations. The Huns are incredibly convinced this is going to be a B-side hit. Bartek has so much to do. Only picks up the 1. It's going to be fast rotations though, and you can't say the same for Rare Adam. They are split 2 and 2, very far apart, so if Score can strike in early, this could just be the round over. Lihang realizes that he clears out deep CT. They've got a good nade on the Cobra Zera, but that won't stop him from getting a kill. 9 with the MP9 is going to be trapped at the back of the bomb set, and they still wait for Zeralt. That flank is going to be activating about 10 seconds down the line. It's a lot of time to burn, and 9's only got a matchstick. He might need more than that for these flames to continue forward. Cobra Zera is the one who's providing real firepower, but he's lost in the sauce and he can't find the bomb in the broth. It's the Rot who now activates, but Summers managed to hide away. Cobra Zero with another kill, and the kit picked up will get the defuse, but barely just.
Yeah, I mean, that gets a little hectic. They knew that there was a kit somewhere in that CT smoke with Score dying in that position. That's why you see Cobra jumping back and forth from the bomb site. He's, jumps into CT, goes a little too far, and almost wastes too much time whereby he might not have been able to actually get on the bomb in time, even with that kit, but manages it. They find the kills in the end. And it was always going to be difficult for the Rare Adam side to lock down that site in the afterplan, but they honestly did a pretty solid job, given that they had very minimal resources to make it work. The smokes weren't going to last forever. They didn't have Molotovs to slow down the approach. And so they go in with another force buy, and, compared to what the Huns were doing on their buying, they get themselves close enough where they actually can topple the economy of the Huns if they are successful.
Oh, immediate kill coming out from Score. He's going to be continuing to pair them up as they try and ascend. Tiger, a fantastic shot that is quickly traded, sure. But Summers taking damage to flames rather than bullets. The bomb is inside the incendiary, so CT's get an extra 4 seconds because of it. A deep flashbang from Cobra Zera, and he's just revealing his position. Child King had staggered and not actually gone forward from Donut. That leaves things between 9 and Zeralt, and Zeralt's backstab will be taking some of the attention away from 9. He needs to find production, and indeed he does. Lihang left alone, 1 versus 2. Zeralt with the smoke in front of him is just hoping that Lihang makes a mistake of crossing through the cloud, but Lihang's not making that error at all, brings it back to a 1v1, and now he's crouched around. It's going to be ring around the roses, but it's Zeralt who's still coming in out on top. These flanks are working in for him. Lihang will not turn on time, and Zeralt somehow gets backstabs on backstabs.
Yeah, I mean, that's perfect use of the smoke, even with him, I think, kind of giving a way for Lihang to isolate gunfights by deploying that smoke in the first place. He makes the perfect counteraction in that 1v1 where Lihang had to try and take a risk at some point or another, and just by virtue of being proactive, he does take that gamble and is able to get behind Lihang in a way that he had no idea it was going to happen. So another moment where the Huns do evade capture, and this time it'll be the half investment here from Rare Atom. We do have a fair amount of resources for a B-site execute. With all these Tech 9s, you'll expect that they'll try and burst onto the scene.
Zorn's trying to bait out Tech 9s. He doesn't realize what he's asking for, though. There's 3 who swarm him down, and Cobra is blind. Blind. Tiger continues to be a menace with the pistols. And in this 5 versus 3, there's an argument to be made for the Huns to even think about going back and saving their weapons. They don't have the healthiest of economies, but that's never stopped them before if their T side is any evidence of it. The refresh from the smoke, though, I would really expect them to back off sometime soon. But with the HG getting the kill,
yeah,
I'll spur them on.
In by this.
Smoke to separate. Cheetah will be taken away, but Summer is crack-a-lackin'. There's 9 spots out ahead, but it really feels like it's time to get out of there. Score is going to be the last one to fall. 4 alive for Rare Adam as they find a critical round and massively boost up their economy, doing it. 4 rifles stolen ahead.
Yeah, half buy where you get a bunch of upgrades and your opponents were teetering on the edge. This is a massive swing in how the round, sort of forecast for the next few rounds is going to look like. You know, the Huns will be inclined to force buy here, and so if they lose, then Rare move to 10, where it'll be a full save for the Huns in the following round, most likely. And there'll be this actually provides very good runway for Rare Atom to run away with this map. That's only if they get past this force buy. We've seen some difficulties for Rare Atom in the past. So
Bang bang.
To start though.
Bartek has struggled a little bit, 6 and 14 right now. And he will have either a chance to flourish or a chance to have his hole dug even deeper. Not expected to succeed with a 5-7, but we've seen what Lee Han can do with the weapon. Bartek hopes to replicate some of that success. Summer Shadow spotted. Bartek swings out wide. Good for the first. Gets back. Spots out the op and he thinks he can push in, but the problem is Lee Hang is right behind. Child King as well quickly activates and leaves Cobra alone in a 1v4.
He will try and slide in to do some extra damage. Maybe get his hands on a rifle if he can. Finds the Deeg onto Tiger, and that's maybe a bit of a taste of Tiger's own medicine. Was finding quite a few headshots on that Deeg, and they're not even really convinced he's going to continue progressing out of Temple. Cobra getting himself another headshot. Li Hong just wants to make sure he doesn't give him a chance to full-on win the round, and so by playing position and Cobra attempting to run him down, he will secure the round. Li Hong with 3 kills in the round, while everybody on the side of the Huns will get an extra $150 based on the efforts of Cobra Zero. I guess 100 directly via Cobra Zero. They will still not be inclined to buy here. So Rare Atom are teed up for an 11th round.
Riders think that they've got themselves out of the red. They are pushed right back into it. As a reminder, this is their map pick. After this, we're going to be going into Mirage. A map that didn't have the most production for Rare Atom yesterday, but we do look like we're having a very different Rare Atom show up today anyhow. Ooh, good shot from Cobra Zara though.
Yeah, I guess he just basically said, you know what? I got all those kills on the Deeg. I got 2, which is enough to rebuy it. But if you get extra $100 for everybody on the team, including yourself, and 300 a pop for the Deagle, you actually pay for the Deagle itself. So 1 kill there, 1 more, and he'd more than justify the purchase, but he will finally be taken down by Tiger, and that 1 kill will be, in fact, all that the Huns get out of the round. It is do or die time now here for the Huns on their map pick in the series. We were expecting more maybe out of that first half. It took them a while to get that engine roaring, and here in the second, encountering some similar difficulties.
Well, the flashbangs don't really help either team, but eventually Summer will get the better of score out in the middle. 9 can trade, so really the pendulum doesn't swing too much, and the Huns are really hoping it will. Rare Atom, however, with Child King slotted in outside of Red Room, are waiting for that second duel. They know their king should be winning that one out. Bartek is going to still fire back. So trades galore, and the CTs have 2 on the B-bomb side, which is currently the target of attack.
Geralt will need to stand his ground and come up with the goods here. Fresh smoke on that B slope will mean that he has an isolated duel with the player in cave, and just as Li Hong emerges, he's sectioned off from his presence in at ramp. Deep nade as well will soften up Marek, but Geralt's done very well with his utility and the fight that he's able to win. 50 seconds. Rare Atom do have time to reset and go elsewhere, but they'll only go with the bomb site they know a little bit more about. Don't know if they'll expect Huns doubled up on long.
Creep through from Tiger. He has a chance of a head to just find the kill onto long, but with Cobra Zara peeking, Marek peeks out and gets the better of him. Zerolt's position given up. There should be 2 consecutive 1v1s, but Tiger's dry spell continues. He really hasn't found success with the AWP.
Yeah, he's been finding a lot of his kills from rifles or pistols, really. And I guess that's more of, another instance where it doesn't look too favorable. Double zoomed on an angle where it's really not far enough to justify it. You kind of lose that advantage. You have to flick way too far. Yeah, it's a good swing in the end there from the Huns. Excellent job from Zerolta on that B-site defense.
Yeah. He's been the hidden hand for the Huns, now up to the top of the scoreboard. What has largely been a conversation dominated by Cobra Zera, and score is one where Zeralt is always keen to come in with a reminder of his capabilities. Atom in the meanwhile, of course, they are having the expected star performance of Marek on the top of the scoreboard.
Yes.
Just as forecasted.
So that's what I'm saying. You just needed that one warm-up game.
Oh, Shadow? 9 flicks on it, and Bartek is able to use that as bait.
Yeah.
Oh, Lihang's so clean.
It didn't look like this was going to be much of a starter for Rare Atom, but then that double kill happens, and suddenly they have open runway completely to this A bomb site. They fell foul to a trap, only for them to get this bomb plant into the A bomb site, but still in a 3-on-3, and they don't have smokes or Molotovs to slow down a CT retake. There's a smoke available here for score that can section should they look to get back into the bomb site, but they're going to try and fake out on the flank. But that's kind of given away the game here for Zerolte, trying to make his way into main. And so now score just left alone and without a kit. This will be a difficult round to pull away from Rare Atom. Score will just want to hold on to this weapon.
Those are really good post-plant positions coming out from Rare Atom. The double up into Donut and leaving Summer alone, just focusing completely on the fact that there should be rotations coming in for the B bomb site. That's really nice to see.
I think what was confusing was Zerolt was going for the flank, and then a player ran elbow as if he was going to go for an A main flank, and then walked back to fight Donut. But then, that might make your fight in Donut easier, but it makes Zerolt's life harder if he's going to flank, if there is someone in Donut. So it was a little curious. I'm not sure everyone was necessarily on the same page about how they were going to get back into that side, but it was a pretty desperate set of circumstances. Run boost not successful on the Huns, trying to run boost out to lane, but Score gets bombarded on his journey.
Airstrike. Summer's going to be leading the charge over here with a flashbang. You could really see them pop off some heads. Summer, however, doesn't get that flashbang. It's Bartek who's able to execute him with the MP9.
Yeah, I think they were anticipating that the Huns would be very active and force a duel in some capacity in this round. You see it's a very slow approach on the side of Rare Atom. They didn't emphasize taking space or pushing for map control. They know that they will be running on suboptimal weaponry. It's not just suboptimal weaponry. They also don't have great utility should an execute be coming their way.
Flashes galore. Lihang is out and about. Zerolt has yet to really show himself off, but Lihang is ready. He's been so sharp on this T side, Michael. Now up to 21 kills. Cobra's MP9 blinking away, but it is Score's rotation to find the actual frag. He still has a chance to do more, but the damage onto Lihang in through the smoke is all from the MP9 of Cobra. This is just ridiculous amounts of damage. Rare Atom are not ready for it at all. Tiger's hitting some nice shots, so brings it back to a 1v2, an opportunity for sure, but one where Bartek's MP9 will prevail.
Yeah, Rare Atom were getting picked to pieces. They knew that the smokes weren't great, that there was an extra one thrown by the CTs. They were scared about MP9 jumping through it. They were scared about the spam. But every angle they thought they had to worry about, there was another one that they were getting shot from. And all through smokes. Even if it is a nice effort there from Tiger hitting some shots on that AWP at the end. The Huns just provided so much suppressing fire that Rare Atom never felt safe. There's a lot of deep util over on B lane here for the Huns, but there's no bodies behind this problem. And there may be bodies on the bomb site that cause problems instead. Zeralt only left with access to Cheetah. And while there's a desperate rotate in from Score, his MP9, the flash, is very well timed. That will equalize things back to a 4-on-4 before that bomb goes down.
And Incendiary onto the planter means the bomb can't go down either.
Yeah.
So suddenly in the 3v4, Rare Atom are going to be stressed for time and space. It's Tiger to fire back with a deagle. He's always good for the one. The problem is just that one is not enough. And Liang, who's been a hero, will not have a chance to do that once again. Not with his HP where it is. Running out of bullets as well. Zeralt finds double digits for the Huns as Rare Atom's economy is pushed down. They will have one last gun round for this half should they want to fend off overtime.
It's crazy because, I mean, they get a clean entry. There is no quick response. The closest one that can react is Zeralt, and it scores MP9 that goes far enough in and gets this counter kill back where suddenly the Rare Atom control is just totally rescinded. You get an instant entry like that. You'd think the objective would be to block off and capture rotates, but a singular player taking long control is really not enough. Not when you get a free pick like that.
Nice. Good start from Cobrazera. Tiger's been taken down on the booster was something that Rare Atom were highly prioritizing yesterday as well, but Score continues to rip apart these eco frags. Gotta just keep it clean, right? You just want to have that upgrade for Bartek going into the next round. He can pick up a rifle for himself. Maybe some extra util pieces can be thrown to him. So he has everything he needs.
Someone will just throw a rifle too.
Oh, that's true, actually. I'm bad at this, Michael.
Yeah, Bartek did actually buy his own gun, so he was right there with you. He was going to upgrade himself, but somebody did come to the logical conclusion where they all have rifles. Why wouldn't they drop him one last round of the half?
Oh, I know you're good for it, man. Don't worry.
So yeah, no problems here for the Huns, affording every luxury, but might not help them if they lose some of these opening duels that Rare Atom have come away with. 9 actually hunting and hounding for an opener on that AWP, but he shoots between the wickets.
Oh, Zerwald finds a kill and gets away without taking a lick of damage. Doesn't feel fully fair, especially when you then have Barta coming over to reinforce this lane aggression that they've not really given up. Summer's got a molly in his hand. He's going to be a dead man. He peeks out, but no, Summer and Liang both get their kills in exchange for much of their HP. It gives Score a chance to have a highlight, but that's not an easy chance. He's a still very sharp player. Score will be looking to beat past the initial aggression. He does collect the head of Lihang. I know they're all coming over. They're so healthy for the players who are giving him duels, and Score still wins him outright. Summer finally takes the peak. Score picks up his second, and Tiger is alone, and alone he will die. Overtime found as the Huns will recover what was a very poor first half and a very swift second.
Yeah, there's a lot of danger mounting here for the Huns, given that, rather for Rare Atom, in that they had a real runway from the start of the game towards the middle part of that second half where they could have just simply taken over this map. But instead we go to overtime, but we do encounter a small technical issue, but while we wait for that, we'll throw it to a break. We'll be back in just a second.
Back into the action we go. It is going to be the Huns who are now hoping to carry that momentum forward in their own map. Rare Atom look to break it. It's overtime, and we all know overtime is where silly business can quickly transpire. Who will be the ones on the receiving end of it?
Yeah, it was definitely an anomaly as well that Marek was performing as well as he did. And, as we got further into the game, it's not without noting that did slow down. Marek wasn't having as much influence. He wasn't getting as many of these kills you weren't expecting him to. He looked really, really sharp, genuinely, at the start of the game. It wasn't like he was just out positioning or just happened to be in the right place to line up a spray down. He was hitting some really fast shots, and that definitely helped bolster this Rare Atom side, but where he's actually quieted down some of the rounds actually for Rare Atom. That's where Summer comes into the equation. Fast play in for mid control by Rare Atom, not only coming out from elbow, but making their way over heaven. So they'll find an opener and some space to take with it, but the Huns aren't sitting around. They aren't sitting on their hands. They're all pushing down to B and clearing things out. Allows his team to play more to that middle and A side, but Zerolt steps a little too far and makes that advantage doubly so for Rare Atom.
Li Han continues to be a fantastic beast for the Chinese side. Molotov at the feet of 9 as he will be looking to re-engage with the AWP. Marek pressures him, but Cobra's secondary op is something he just wasn't ready for. Tiger's the one with the bomb, don't forget that, but it's 9 who's peeking out wide, getting collaterals in the middle of the site as well. Tiger will shut him down, but as Score pushes through the smoke, Liang fails to punish. Score gets 1 and a second as well. What I would have given to watch that from his perspective. Summer is now low and alone. He's got a lot to do here. Cobrazar at the very least has the AWP, but you wouldn't be surprised to see him just pull it out the pistol and fire him down. Instead, gets stylish. No scope, straight to the head.
That is a pretty ballsy play from Score, but that's exactly the type of play that he can get away with, and did exactly like that. Li Hong has had a pretty solid game, but by covering that smoke, had Score just simply walked through it, free kill for Li Hong every day of the week. But Score walked into the middle of it, and as he was about to break around the edges, started running and just able to overcome the sight line that Li Hong looked to protect. That was a 3-on-5.
Ooh.
And they may have to get themselves out of another one.
Well, maybe it's especially of theirs. Either way, I don't think they want it to be. Jal King taking damage early on through the smoke. They are slowing down the ascent. Rare Atom will allow Li Hang to fall without scaling in from behind because they think the B side is empty. They're right, but at what cost are you going to pull off this rotate?
Yeah, this might be their specialty. And what a specialty it would be to have.
Oh my god, because of that second smoke, Summer's been forced back. This bomb can't be planted.
Yeah, there's no security.
The smokes are going to start to wear off very soon, and now Summer is going to be insecure in every way. Bartek's got one already, and he's still aware of the fact that Summer could be around the corner. He's even going as far as pushing in to buy space for Zerolt, but it's space Zerolt cannot use, and Score, who brought it back to a 3-on-3, must now win the 1v2. AK at the ready, but the shot won't be fired. Summer still perseveres.
Yeah, I mean, great job from Summer. It was a tough situation given the smokes down at CT, like you were mentioning, and even with his teammate losing his life inside of the site as he's trying to create this perimeter of safety into the B bomb site transition, things get a little awkward. But I will say, I think Bartek playing around the edges of that smoke with that USP, I understand coming into the reload. It feels like a bad idea as well when you know that they're likely close, but forcing the duel felt equally ill-advised. Look at this pace. This complete change from the Huns. Cobra just sending it down B ramp and gets annihilated clothesline by Li Hang. It's another opener for Rare Atom. They've had 3 straight coming into this overtime.
Bartek in the meanwhile executes Marek. Out of middle only to be traded. Rare Atom are now on the 4 versus 2. And with 2 ops on the other side, that especially of the Huns. Oh my god, are they making this competitive again?
They love being down 2 men, two-man deficit. That's where things get real for the Huns.
Look at how scared Rare Atom are for going into the B-bomb site.
Oh, I mean, they have lost 1 round in similar circumstances. They almost lost another.
Mm-hmm. The worst part is that every time they second guess themselves, it's another chance for the Huns to reposition effectively, and look at what 9 is up to. If he can get a sightline into Cave, if he maintains this round could be over. He doesn't maintain. He backs off. There's ants in his pants, but there's fire in his fist. And 9 will choose to use the hot hand. There are no smokes. There is no cover. Not on the long side. So if they want to go back to ramp, they will have to face off against him. It is still score with an AWP as well. Wouldn't be surprised to see him switch out for a rifle en route. And indeed, he picks up the A4. Now 9 only looks to defend. Lihang is closing the gap. If 9 is not wary of this, he will have his head swept cleanly off and score again. 1v2. Tiger's been having a tough time of things, but Lihang's been so damn good. Picking up the op might not have been the decision, but it wouldn't matter either way. Lihang still shuts him down. 14 for Rare Atom.
Yeah, Tiger doing a very solid job there. I mean, even just the idea for 9 to be solo anchoring on that B-bomb site, it's a tough spot to be in. I mean, with cave open, with ramp open, if the angle that he was holding, if a player crept up ramp, they would just see his gun barrel sticking through the wall, and it would very likely be communicated. Very easy kill. 9 did quite well to get his kill, and then Tiger hit the leg shot before the final sweep up there from Lihang, who has been exceptional for Rare Atom this game, whether it's been on some of these entries or some of the closers. He has been a threat through and through. It's been a fairly rounded team effort, honestly, from Rare Atom. You can see the kill disparity. Only one that's really beating past that has been Lihang. It's all come in different waves. You know, we saw the wave of Chal King Lihang, of Marek in that first half. Tiger's had a couple of his moments, Summer as well. And Tiger will even grace the scoreboard with an entry playing around a smoke in cave. Tiger plays a dangerous game. Who do you think I am? Tiger isn't in danger. He is the danger. He is the one who knocks. Well, it's the same one. It's the same meme. Yeah. It's from Breaking Bad. He just doesn't have time to do it. Even in an ideal world where he could somehow get himself into these duels, he just simply doesn't have time to make this work. So this will be a 15th round here for our Atom. Score can try and do damage, try and take weapons away, but instead he'll feed himself into the beast. Tiger with a full ace here in overtime. May have had his difficulties earlier on into the game, but a little bit of that bravado goes a long way. I think that all starts with him pushing the edge of a smoke. Suddenly, Tiger just can't miss. Maybe that's all it takes. Getting into the overtime. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, from an ace to a 3K. It won't be back-to-back aces. Li Hang contributes and may just seal the round as well. Cobra left alone and playing shotgun with this AWP. Li Hang on a timing will swing out in the right place. 16-13, Rare Atom steal the pick of the Huns. They have to do it in the overtime, but they get some stellar step-ups from some of their stars.
I'll keep going till my speakers come blow. I'll keep going till my speakers come blow. I'll keep going till my speakers come blow. I'll keep going till my I'll keep go till my speakers come. I'll keep going till my speakers come blow. 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 Going till my speakers come blow. I'll keep going till my speakers come blow. I'll keep going till my speakers come blow. I'll keep going till my go till my speakers come. I'll keep going till my speakers come blow. 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 I'll keep going till my speakers come blow.
Sometimes you gotta pray for a victory. Yeah, I'm overzealous when I'm thinking about the cash flow. I never had no handouts, just came natural. I've been tested so much, all these wrestlers nice. All these different situations that I've been through. I seen pain trying to creep in through the window, but now I'm sliding through the hood in a benzo. You gotta separate yourself just to elevate. I keep some drink in my cup to see through the hate. Sometimes on the road to glory, you gotta press the brakes. I got a lesson plan for all my past mistakes. I swear I'm proud of all my best and my worst days. Proud of all my feet when I touch the ground. Front of 8 at Beijing, man, they know the sound. I know I made mistakes, but my mama proud. Fans scream my lyrics out in the background. They ain't know me then, but I'm hot now. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. Life down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. I'm faced with a lot of different choices these days. Do a rock and roll Lex account of Blueface. The whole world know my name off a mixtape. I still got the same brothers since 6th grade. G-Wagon red seats, we on Biscayne. Trips to the Florida Keys, we imported these. Thanking God for the life he afforded me. All this jewelry on my body, I could like the hood. I need a brown skinned chick just like Megan Good. Holding up every promise that I ever made. Music in the background, it's a serenade. Been rapping 10 years, boy, this ain't a phase. I paid dues, paid rent, and I stayed the same. I had teardrops running down my face. I've been through a lot, I had real pain. But thank God, cause we really on a better days. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. Life down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. What's a life without sacrifice? Sometimes you gotta thank God and just roll the dice. Pacino. Uh-huh.
Damn, guys, we almost had this.
Thank God it's over.
Bored of endless matchmaking? Take your first step towards ECL, experiencing real strategies against teams of your skill. Learn more at fce.gg/ECL.
ESL presents ESL Challenger League in partnership with Intel, Acer Predator, DHL, and Qiddiya.
Welcome back to the ESL Challenger League. We continue on towards Mirage. It is the lower bracket finals for the Asia Pacific Cup number 2. It is between Rare Atom and the Huns. The Huns find themselves down a map after Rare Atom beat them in overtime on their own pick. Rare Atom now head to Mirage, their map pick, and we have to see whether or not we are going to have the same Chinese dominance stepping into the server.
There is quite a distinction between the Rare Atom and the Huns, and it did feel like for a large part of that game there was a separation. Rare Atom were showing up in big ways, Marek were showing up in a big way, which was kind of unexpected, but the Huns also played very, very disjointed, and as they warmed up into that game we started to see more of that team play, more of the star power, more of what these pieces could offer up. And even if there were still some liabilities in the long run, you know, I wouldn't say Bartak necessarily had a great game, for example. The Rare Atom squad, even in spite of some of the difficulties they encountered, they did get very good distribution across their scoreboard, and then they started to get some of the high impact from, you know, Tiger late into the overtime to actually win 2 rounds essentially single-handedly. You know, that's the difference that Rare Atom were kind of enabled to have. You know, we didn't have Nine, we didn't have Bartak have these big moments the same way that Rare Atom were across their entire roster.
I think Lihang in particular did feel like a bit of an MVP to me, and I'm glad to see his uptick in performance has continued. And sometimes it feels like it is in trade for, Child King being able to step up. It does feel that way, and that sucks. But I think Child King as well is going to have other maps where he's going to feel a lot more comfortable. Ancient seems like the most extreme version where he has been, put onto the A anchor position where he's in a completely different kind of role to where he was before, obviously playing B Cave. This could still become a very exciting prospect if Rare Atom continue to sort of get there, figure out how to juggle all of these balls and, put it all into place. This is still some incredible pieces. Unfortunately, we don't have one of those incredibly storied pieces. Kaze will not be on the server. Marek is still with us, but apparently that's not always unfortunate. He had a banger of an Ancient.
Yeah, he had a pretty solid performance, and I wouldn't necessarily say his T side was anything to write home about, but on CT, I mean, he had a lot of... He kind of got the engine roaring for Rare Atom in a way that nobody would have expected, especially, given he didn't have a great game against the Chinggis Warriors. Wasn't expecting from one day to the next for it to see such a marked improvement for him, so it's nice that that's not causing too many issues, especially given that Rare Atom have kind of been undergoing a sort of slow transition with Kaze to Tiger in terms of AWPing responsibilities and who's going to be playing more of a support AWPing role and who's going to be more aggressive, where pieces like Marek can slot in a little more seamlessly. Like if Marek had to slide in for Kaze and they didn't have an AWPer on the team that was taking those responsibilities actively, then it's very likely we would have seen Rare Atom drop the map or drop some of their wins in this cup, but that hasn't been the case.
Well, let's take a look at Liang's stats as well, because I'm making him so much, I might as well show you guys the numbers as well. He had a good old time. Now, Liang wasn't the only one picking up numbers. Of course, on the other side for the Huns, we did also have some step-up moments coming through. I think in particular for me, it did feel like Score was a big difference maker. Zeralt and Cobrazera also continued to be involved pretty consistently all across, but nothing compared to what Liang was bringing just in terms of pure consistency and impact. Liang very often finding opening kills, and I don't necessarily mean round opening kills. I do also mean things like entry kills in a 3 versus 3 where they need him to perform. A lot of those 3v5s that the Huns was able to bring back to 3v3s, then Liang and Summer came into play to actually make a difference.
Yeah, it does feel like it can maybe be a bit of a head-to-head in that regard. You know, Liang does seem to step up in quite a few of those moments, and, you know, you're right to say that it's maybe chopped and changed with how much performance and how much impact you can get out of players like Child King, especially on Ancient, but with how good Liang seemed to be in some of the openers and closers, it's very akin to some of the strengths that Score has himself as an individual player, and I think if we're going to see the Huns have a resurgence and win the map over Rare Atom, you are going to need Score to show up. You are going to need 9 to actually have a pretty big game, considering that's actually a typical win condition for the Huns. In a lot of their wins, it's between players like Score, like Zeralt, like Cobra, that can, as this kind of rifling core alongside 9's AWPing, overpower quite a lot of teams within the region. But as they play tougher opponents, as they play teams like Rare Atom, it does become more trying and more complicated. But they're still going to need those win conditions in the long term. Rare Atom starting on the T side of this second map in Mirage, and already approaching this A-bomb site.
Score lies in wait. You should be point of first contact. At least he will be playing distraction. 9's rotation showed temporarily because Zeralt and Score didn't have anything to show. Child King, fantastic entries onto the bomb side, and he might not be done yet. The flashbang to help Liang swing out wide with a stolen USB, and the back lines have already backed it down. Bartek is out. Hot damn.
And a hell of a start for Child King, but from the double entry to immediate space being taken, that flash for CT that honestly I didn't think would arrive on time. They get close, they play from RUPS, they're waiting for this flashbang for so long that it looked like it may have gone amiss, or it could have been easily dodged, but ends up hitting the mark. Great job from Mark having that extra utility, but then also, like you said, securing the flank, so there were no bailouts for the Huns. Very dominant looking pistol for the Chinese. I expect to see 4 spies from the Huns. That will be what I look forward to, I suppose. Hopefully not one too many times.
Yeah, Molotov defeated Bartek over here means that his Deagle is going to be unsuccessful, and if anyone doesn't know what Michael is alluding to, because you didn't watch map number 1, we did have the Huns 4 spying for 3 rounds in a row, even when they didn't always get the bomb plant. Nice kill from 9, though, makes this one feel a bit more justified.
Yeah, playing from Cat, able to get a player moving into Delpan. And Child King above the smoke in connector does find Zeralt, so that advantage they start with is now double and triply so. Scoring Cobra, all that's left, but they sit more dedicated to the catwalk, and they'll catch these players getting out of the connector towards that A site. A couple of chances to do some more damage, but that should be all she wrote. Cobra kill right back. That bomb was dropped in connector. Things could have gotten a little weird, but had to rely on Cobra hitting a headshot on that scout because both those players were fully healthy. Still a lot of damage coming out of that force buy. There's actually more of a justification here for the Huns to force here than what they did on Ancient. There's
Mirage for Rare Atom is obviously an interesting pick as well. It's something that they've started leading into a lot more. It's a big pivot for them away from what used to be things like an Inferno pick and whatnot before. We saw them play against Shinga's Warriors yesterday in the upper bracket final. They did not look good. Yeah, not look great at all. I mean, Tiger was having a great time, but then Shinga's Warriors was just manhandling them, especially going into the second half. This is a good start for Adam, though, but we're hoping that we can see more of today rather than yesterday in this performance. Anti-eco is clean.
Against the 4 upgraded pistols, it's no real issue, so kill through smoke is nice. That will add some cause for concern. But this should just be another round tied up here for the Huns, or rather for Rare Atom. Huns will just try and set up to do damage. I don't imagine Rare Atom are going to give them many open duels. I respect the discipline.
Yeah. Just making sure they keep... Oh, no. I was going to say just making sure they keep as many rifles alive as possible, but it's hard to have that happen if Score is going to have a hot hand with an eagle.
Nicely done from Child King, though. Kept his eyes on the prize. Didn't let that AK fall into enemy hands. Moving into what is the first full buy of the Huns. They'll be able to afford up an AWP, but having an AK on that CT side can be the difference between a successful hold or one that goes traded.
Double up very early on coming out of the Huns.
Yeah, wasn't actually expecting them to lean into that. Not until later in the game, but they're going to force for Adam to expend more flashes, but that may not even be necessary. Full A play.
Joel has to be careful to be fully blinded up. It is an immediate kill for Child King. The second wave of flashes is fantastic, and Bartek will find that out the hard way. They have not cleared out Cobra Zera, and Cobra Zera is playing patience. He's got a chance for a big multi, but it might be getting away from him. 2 quick kills still picked up, and the drop down from scaffolding is where someone will retrieve that loss advantage. A deep flashbang as well. Look at the timings on these flashes. It is in perfect tandem. Rare Atom are continuing to use every piece of utility to perfection.
Yeah, I mean, the Huns don't feel like they're getting fair fights. The first 2 kills coming out of round, both players were blind. From Zeralt up close to the follow-up under balcony. You know, sure, it allows Cobra to effectively play trigger discipline, but, you know, after Chalkin gets all that space towards spawn, and they know that they've been disrupted inside of the site because of what Cobra Zero got up to, you're right, the flash is very well placed. It's deep enough that it catches the AWPer deep inside CT, and just makes it near impossible to hold on to either of those 2 AWPs moving into this follow-up round. It was a deep commitment. It was a lot of money to expend. That's why a lot of teams don't lean into double ops early, is that ideally you buy one and you get the other off your opponent. But yeah, the Huns don't have the grace of having one of those weapons as an X factor in the round that follows, so they've got a couple FAMASs out, trio of M4s, but they'll be shortchanged on some of their util.
Full set of smokes going out towards B. I think the second one is missed, though it won't matter all too much. Marek is still going to lead the charge forward with a MAC-10 dropping into flames of their own design. The bomb has dropped with him, though, and that's never good. Now, the Huns are in a prime position to punish the forced commitment that exists for Rare Atom. They might even think about going back to save these 2 rifles. Unless Summer can find a kill into middle, he'll start to chance forward, and it's Score to win out the duel. A spam from Bartek to finish the round.
Yeah, Chalking actually almost full spam Bartek through that wall, so I guess it's only fair that Bartek spammed him back. Chalking took a lot of damage from the early exchange. Yeah, it did feel like a bit of a forced play there from Rare Atom, but they tried to explore it as an option. They've been very mid and A-side focused, so hoping that they might be able to abuse a timing on B, only for that to blow up in their face. They got disrupted on their timings. They couldn't all scale out at the time they wanted to. They could not line up effective trades. And so the Huns keep a handle on it. I'd expect that the Rare Atom side start to slink back into what's been working so far, and that's been middle into these A-side attacks.
Goodbye, Lee Hung. See ya, wouldn't want to be ya.
fresh smoke bottom common as well will mean that there's no way that Rare Atom can actively pursue an attempt at a trade. This can be one of the issues with being so middle dependent, and it's something that actually happens quite a lot at, you know, pug and low-level plays, that people can stagnate in middle. Unless an opportunity is given your way, which Tiger will find above that connector smoke. He's even ready for the fight.
He ends up falling to score from window, but that's where Chalking is there to keep the advantage going back in their way. The bomb can be recovered. It's one CT aside, and with Cobra Zera not being spotted out, this could be a moment for him to interrupt that bomb. It's going to be the AWP now, going in with its third kill now in its second pair of hands. Chalking 12 and 2 right now. And there's a reason to pick Mirage. This might be it. Summer barely just clocks the hip of Bartek at the very edge of his vision, readjusts back in, and they'll keep 3 alive.
Yeah, I mean, these timings almost look like they work for the Huns. They actually did barely spot Cobra as he was rounding the corner into short. So even with him being in a position where he could have cut down that bomb and stopped them getting into that A-bomb site, there was very likely to be a trade there for Rare Atom. But that's a problem, you know. If the Huns understood that mid was going to be dominated, they weren't really in an active position to fight for mid control and try and force duels or fight through the connector smoke or, you know, double swing from short. They didn't have these pieces in the right place. For Zeralt to peek above that con smoke into short is a bit of a mistake, especially when window is smoked and they have no way to trade it out.
Yeah. I think the worst part is Zeralt might not even have wanted to go for information. He might have just been feeling antsy. Like, oh my god, the smoke's gonna run out. I will die in connector. I need to get out of here. It's time this.
Maybe just didn't want to be on the stair side of things. Yeah, it costs him.
Dear. Look at the money for the Huns. Rifles are plenty, but you're going to be potentially down 1-7 if you lose this round.
Watch Marek 1 bullet 9 here.
Oh man, he's the coach. Surely Marek's never gonna go for an aggressive peek into a line which could have an opera on it. He's just out-patienting him. Marek waited 12 years for a chance to play in a top Chinese team. Michael, of course he can out-patient tonight.
Playing the long game.
He's able to clear out, or at least that's what he thinks. He's been able to clear out connector. Zeralt still peeks behind, but Chalking remains unfettered. 13 and 2. Marek now activates 9. Well, that game of patience, he's lost it. Score peeks out for a second. Cobra is the one to actually get it through the smoke. You've left behind Summer to watch out for Cobra, but Cobra isn't being watched for by Tiger. Cobra will fall. He's not expecting there to be a player who's just waiting for aggression or waiting for a rotate. That's exactly what Summer was up to. Bartek, once again, in the right position to try and make a play happen, but as it was the case in the last round, he just gets overwhelmed by a Chinese old head.
Yeah.
Last time was Summer, this time Marek.
Yeah, I mean, Summer got his kill. He didn't quite devastate 9 the way I thought he would, but he did play a very slow and patient game, and that felt like what Rare Atom's MO was from the start of that round. They find a pick. They sort of slowly creep in to take space. There's no real pace behind anything that Rare Atom is doing, and the Huns are reacting like there is going to be, you know, quick turbulence on one of these bomb sites, and that's just simply not the case. Every time they think they're going quick, the Rare Atom squad are ready to meet them with open arms. Make sure they don't have anyone in their slipstream.
I'm gonna need you to explain what a slipstream is after this round. I won't lie to you, Michael. That smoke did not go where it's supposed to.
No, it didn't.
Nades fly out. Well, damage is still there from the CT. Summer's feeling quite honest right now as he's been kept at that, but still, easy breezy. No harm, no foul. And Score's gonna be out of here with that M4.
So, there shouldn't be any real threats in this round. A slipstream is often used in racing terminology.
Ooh.
So, whether that's on a bike or even in marathons or in drag races, F1. Basically, you're creating a condition where there's less air in front of the car, and so that's less resistance on you, or like there's less air resistance on you as the moving party, and you're making use of an opponent or a teammate that's ahead of you that is taking the brunt of that.
Right, okay.
So you're in their slipstream because there's less air resistance. There's less drag.
Okay. Well, the Huns would love to be in someone's slipstream right now because they have been dragged down into despair. 1-7.
Yeah, they may just be slipping on stream.
That's awful.
It was right there.
I know, but sometimes it's better not to go for the cookie jar that's been left open for the last 3 weeks.
It was my own cookie jar.
Well, you left it open for 3 weeks. It's gone rotten, but maybe 9 can still find some fresh shots. He spots out the boost. He re-peeks back into it. Bold call, 9, but there are multiple angles of verticality, I suppose, that you have to look out for if you're Tiger.
Yeah, and one that you may have to just take. I mean, the Huns need ways into rounds like these because they have not been winning by traditional means. And they start by a score, 1 kill, but there's Summer taking some space over towards this A site. Summer is down to the grenade of 9, and the flick is immaculate as well. So 4-on-2, the Huns could very well find their second round.
Tiger is convinced that there's going to be a push through the smoke, but maybe Marek is going to be the one to do it. There's an AWP on the other side of it. Both AWPers watching out for this exact thing. 9 has been waiting for Marek to take a knee on stairs in front of him, and now Tiger's been left in a 1 versus 4. It's about damage. That's what the game is going to be centered on. I wouldn't hate him for saving either, to be perfectly frank, but no option for that. Bartek will get some semblance of revenge.
Yeah, nice methodical clear there from Bartek. Caught a glimpse of the AWP and made sure that there was no chance that Tiger could win that round back or even do the damage he was after. But a good round from 9 on that AWP, taking an aggressive line and trying to be active, try and disrupt this control that's been working wonders for Rare Atom, especially in the mid rounds when they're getting access to mid-floor and playing around the bottom side of connector, getting their way onto the catwalk. These are things that have been causing issues for the Huns in terms of their default approach. They've been losing numbers consistently.
Out goes Shulking, but Lehang's there to trade. You don't have any pressure on the extremities. There won't be any lurking presence. Summers decided to vacate away from A. He will be going back to B. Interestingly enough, he wants to put pressure on the Cobrazera's shoulders.
Huns do have to be careful, though. I mean, they wanted to be active this round. They had Score play close to that top mid smoke to try and disrupt this mid control again in just a slightly different way than the round gone by. But this is still the playground of Rare Atom. Summer, good Molotov will force Cobrazera out of position, and they've got 2 players on this B bomb site, and they've, because of the utility, forced a 3rd man over. So Lehang walking up connector. It's all on Bartek really to lock down this A bomb site because reinforcements is coming, but it may be a little delayed.
Tiger turns away. Bartek peeks out right as he does. Bartek will be able to confirm the fact that there are multiple players in the A-bomb side. That's what Zeralt is watching out for anyone to come in through the murder hole. Tigers found the first kill onto the man who'd already revealed. They are expecting rotations to be in place, and Summer's execution of Cobrazera is going to spur 9 forward into trying to find action. There's 18 seconds on the clock, and it doesn't feel like Rare Atom have any stress whatsoever. Zeralt ends up blinding himself, moves past the planter into a kill, and Marek is the one to secure for Rare Atom.
Yeah, if Tiger didn't get off the plant there, things could have gone real awkward real fast. Zeralt really trying to make a hero play happen, but in a 1 versus 3, desperate times, desperate measures, but it will fall on deaf ears. Rare Atom 8-2. They are consistently finding these ways out. Even if just that little push-pull, you can see how quickly the Huns are to knee-jerk themselves towards one side of the map just off of a little bit of pressure because of how poorly things have been going so far in this defense. These overreactions are being capitalized on. It's another opener here for Child King. He has been on a heater, 16 and 5, gets his way up the catwalk into short, jumps over the scope of score, but the adjustments there, Li Hong the trade, Cobra inside of the site is able to escape. Tiger had the line, but that Molotov obscures his vision, and Tiger has the bomb inside of this B site. He's very far away from Marek.
Cobra circles in from behind. Tiger's gone. Marek, do you believe in magic?
Well, that missile of an incendiary is very telling, rather, for Marek. If not confirmed, they are deeply suspicious of his possible timing he could find to market.
I mean, the save is completely worth it over here. If you can give it to Child King in the next round, he can pick up Kevlar if you want to save.
Yeah, that does seem to be what he's angling for now. I think someone just whispered in his ear, a save's not bad, actually. And yeah, when an incendiary lands on your feet when you're flanking, probably the right move. Lovely job from Cobra Zero. I mean, traded very effectively on side of that site. Uses the smoke to his advantage as well when he knew a player was out and hunting him. It's a bit of a cheeky, sneaky play, but once you've already got two, why not take that extra step?
Counter-terrorists win.
It's going to be another chance of a hair for the Huns to be able to bring this to some semblance of respectability. Still will be an uphill battle when Rare Atom get onto the CT side. I have a feeling Tiger is going to be picking up some of that last 3 rounds form from Ancient.
I would very much expect that Rare Atom to just hit the A-bomb site. If I'm thinking about, hey, we've got 8-3, we've had a lot of success on A. Think about who's on A as well. Bartek has had, again, another one of these games where it's been difficult for him to get engaged.
The Huns expect it as well, Michael. They want to get ahead of the execute. They're going to spot out Marek, trying to line up for the smokes, but Child King and Li Hang will not be deterred. 9 now waits behind the lurch smoke. And the T's have not pulled the full trigger on the execute. They still have 2 smokes left. They've got Summer in a good position out in middle. They are going to make the Huns sweat.
Yeah, I expect them to make their move at that 40-second mark. And there's going to be a lot of open timings through which they could find an angle onto score. They could spot out his gun barrel on one of his jiggles. Two in Palace, one at ramp, and still with that lurking Summer creeping connector. I'll wait for Summer to make his move first.
Time might be their enemy. Rotations back to A have been called in. Scores said he needs help. And he's right about it. Marek is incredibly low from that earlier kill attempt. Summer just goes through the smoke with 15 seconds on the clock, but Score's still alive on the bomb side. Can't pull out the USB in time. Marek can punish him. 9, 1v1 either side. Time's running out. 9 knows it as well. It's going to be 4 for the Huns. As we turn to a break at the end of the half, the Huns get bare minimum. Can they make it work? Let's find out after a short break. Welcome back. It is 8 for Rare Atom as they have shown us a very different face to what we had versus the Chinggis Warriors yesterday. Mirage looking like it is very much in their comfort zone.
Yeah, a lot to answer for, that's for sure, here for the Huns. They were able to spark a resurgence on Ancient. They may have lost in overtime, but they made us believe for a moment. They're going to need some inspiration here, though.
Cobra is able to start things off with a quick kill on the Child King. Those who've been hard to come by, 17 and 7 going into the second half. Now 8 on the death score. Summer still looking to swing out wide when the bomb is being planted. He can't trace out the heads, and Cobra Zero will find success. Marek does the same, but only in limited quantities. Hunt should have this pistol round locked and loaded. Tiger's rotation will be trapped between 2 players of his own. Cobra Zero's triple kill has guaranteed the Huns this round win.
I just realized that Marek only had 2 deaths coming out of that half, and his third one happens here. Played 13 rounds, and he's only died 3 times. Hell of a game from Marek, but not enough. The Huns able to burst in with that A play. They had util to section off the site. They had smokes down, and once they find that entry, once they scale out, it seemed like Radom were actually in a position where they could respond out from CT with their numbers, but they weren't necessarily all on the same page, and the Huns take full advantage of that. So this will be a pistol for them. They are encountering a minor technical hiccup. We had one with Bartak earlier on into Ancient, but I imagine this will get resolved quite quickly.
Yeah, I haven't booked flight tickets yet, so, you know, it better be. Because tickets at this short notice, those get expensive, Michael.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. We also have the Force Buy here for Rare Atom in response.
That's expensive.
Counter-terrorists win.
And we should get a full round reset. That's the whole... Oh, wow. The whole team has dropped out of the server. So we're really going to need to put on our technical boots.
The flights.
Yeah, we're going to have to take a trip on over. We'll be back after a short break when the Huns rejoin us. Don't go anywhere. This map still yet to play.
The road to the top is a riddle. What will be my destiny? Money and fame are awaiting, but not enough is raining on me. Maybe I should give it all up. How much more can I take? Out here singing to the heavens. When I gonna get my break? I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. How will I get out of the jungle? Everybody wanna stop me. 10 more steps up the mountain.
And we're back into things. It is going to be a quick resume after the Huns have won out the pistol round. Ray Atom pulling out the force buy. And they are hoping to be able to stop the Huns from gaining any momentum whatsoever. Hard to make these CT side force buys work though.
Yeah, it'll be hard to make the CT side work if they don't get more contributions than just Child King. It felt like he was doing quite a lot on that T side, and that is the one potential threat that the Rare Atom side may face, is that Child King cannot be everywhere at once. Who's to say he even keeps up this level moving into the second half.
Stack out on towards the B-bomb side. That is going to be ill-placed.
They don't have a flash to enable Cobra Zero, so you will have to take a fight dry, and that's against Summer's CZ close connector, and in fact, Summer will double up. Nine cannot wrangle it with that Mac-10, so 5-on-3 here for Rare Atom immediately, and hands-on AKs too.
Gone from a pocket AK into a full-scale one. Instead, Summer wants to keep it going. Spraying inside the smoke just to see if he can find a timing on the crossover. Zerol's taking a lot of damage as well. This is going from bad to worse. Child King's in a good position here as well, playing hyper defensively. And as they're going to be pushing in with utility to help, there's no help at all. They won't lose a single player on the CT, so finally Score can frag in to the spawn. A 1 versus 5 that he has to pull together, but as the bomb is tapped, Marek and Liang will be looking to swing out wide. Marek not even needed. This is the worst case scenario, and it has come into fruition.
Yeah, I mean, that is some Summer nonsense. We're escaping the season, but there's no escape from him. 2 quick kills, clean ones inside of Connector, and just by virtue of that, the split that they had lined up for that A-bomb site turned into a one-sided assault, and they did not feel comfortable in their after plans. They needed to try and take some space away in some capacity, and it comes at a lot of cost. I mean, Score being the only survivor of that space-taking attempt in the after plan. The Huns were kind of set up to maybe have a bit of a surge in the second half, but encountering that, that's a big roadblock. Now they're forced onto a force buy.
Nade into the sandwiches, and Cobra is eating it up. 9 in the meanwhile will collect on the 1, but Summer wants to get up to his shenanigans again. While the bomb is being planted, he'll pick up the 1 and then stops the digits from being dialed. 9 does creep through back into middle though, and that gives him a chance to go face to face with Lihang. Marek is making a play on his own, hoping to pull off a bit of that Summer wonderness. But Tiger's left alone instead as Marek will fail his duel. 1 versus 3. 9 is got his head on a swivel, but the spam will connect, and the Huns will treat that last round like a roadblock.
Yeah, thank goodness 9 is able to kind of keep control of the space he has. I thought we were in for some more summertime sadness. Instead, the Huns have been able to navigate out, quick execute a burst. They deal with a player in connector. There's a lot of chaos developing, and in spite of the fact they get that entry, the Huns do leave themselves vulnerable to some of those Summer shenanigans. So it's a battle of force buys at the start of the second half. Rare Atom win 1, the Huns answer back. So Rare Atom will give it another swing. See if the Huns can stabilize and get us back onto some status quo. Or it will continue to be turbulent. Li Hong's already found a kill, and that was onto the player that had the bomb, so that was likely spotted by Rare Atom, but not something that they're fighting too hard to maintain.
Liang is down and out. So finding that critical kill. Liang is a player I praised a lot coming out of Ancient, and Mirage hasn't always been required, but on this CT side, like you mentioned, Michael, we want to see the step-up performances.
Not just him, but players like Li Hong, Li Hong and Tiger, that combo can be quite potent. But they may not be necessary. Child King is a very proactive step. They're starting to set up for a take on this B bomb site, and the timing that he gets here may just be totally disruptive. Mark is doing a great job of locking things down inside of the site, and so now this flank from Child King is going to be devastating. Zeralt found from the behind, and Score completely distracted, didn't know which way to look. And just like that, we have another Force Buy coming away with the win. It has been back and forth in this second half.
I was getting ready to flame them for having Marek on the M4 instead of Child King, and now I take it all back. Like, these are just genuinely good anchoring performances that Marek is giving us, right? These are just really good plays. It's giving me like joking at Fisher flashbacks in many ways.
Sure, yeah. Assistant coach, but why?
How about I assist some of these frags, huh?
Yeah. I'll give you something to assist. 10 to 6. And it's again a reliable play for the Huns. They went for this last Force Buy. They'll try it again, but they don't get the entry they want. Even if all these CTs are trapped behind smokes, they will have access to the site, and they can get a plant, but holding on to this afterwards may be difficult.
And we've got the one flashbang for Bartek, and he will want to spur his troops forward. Rejigging the bomb plant actually gives so much more time for the CTs as well. They've already beaten Boss at one flashbang that was left, and that's going to be completely useless. The Tech 9s will have no ability to close distance. A flash from the CTs comes out to help Tiger get himself the kill and the clear, but he's on 4 to 3, I do believe. And even if he's not, he's gone and missed out the kill onto 9 that was potentially there as well. Still traded later on, 3 versus 2. Fully ready for any sort of reprieve coming in, but Zeralt with a quick 1D is now going to be spotting out the feet of the king, but he instead kneels at them. 11 to 6. Rare Atom will not allow that same Force Buy strategy to get the better of them twice.
Yeah, I mean, the reposition for Zeralt to get access to short and get eyes on that bomb was a way back into the round, and he did a great job of kind of evading capture afterwards, but after he took contact, he actually needed his teammate to take attention back or be the next one to threaten the bomb in some way. And that simply wasn't the case. Zeralt did his job. Huns did get that extra money, did get that extra space, but now they find themselves in dire straits. Going in with another Force Buy, and it'll be Li Hong that graces the scoreboard immediately. Makes the jump to short. And Marek's nade may sail a little too deep, but they want to try and run him down. Smoke goes a bit too far as well. That Score has been loud about his approach and the threat he potentially posed on that B-bomb site, so Marek is all guards raised. They're not working with a lot here. Huns will have to try and find an access point, something that they can pick apart. Flash is beautiful. Li Hong full blind as he just tried to take the fight to bench.
Yeah, they've been tearing him apart on the short peaks. And meanwhile, Zeralt even pushes all the way through. Score is trying to cover off Summers, and he will do so effectively. The Huns of the gun round looking very good, but maybe not for long. Marek still gets a singular shutdown, but Tiger on the op. I don't think they want to make a contest of this.
Wow. Well, we're at him finally deal with Force Buys back to back, and then lose to another Force Buy afterwards. So it's still been a very turbulent second half, but if things remain this way, where it is back and forth and nobody can get real consecutive rounds under their belt, that will hurt the Huns. Veradum are simply closer to that finish line than they are. But they found that access point. They found the gap they were hoping for. And it comes off the back of that flashbang. You know, Score able to capitalize on that. Zerolta slipping into jungle. But then just the awareness that, hey, if a player in jungle is getting caught off guard and we have a smoke top con, there's somebody that's watching the smoke. They've just not done a very good job of it. So Score spammed the one place that actually could have been, you know, kind of check all the boxes, actually. Covering both sides of those CS2 smokes can be very, very difficult. They spill out. They're a little hazy around the edges. Yeah. And they can be blown open on you.
Kind of Disney villain-esque in a lot of ways. Well, in the meanwhile, it's a good flashbang from Child King to assist Lihang in getting some activation. 9 is out early on. Summer's reload has been heard and Score is ready to stab him in the back, but he hears footsteps, and that means Summer will have an opportunity at the cost of Lihang's life.
Yeah, Lihang actually did 360s coming out of that smoke as well, and if he didn't, there's a very likely possibility Score gets away with that double. They're still fighting for mid. They have fast reaction where Summer can swing Child King as well, holding this crossfire, and it's only Cobra Zero that tries to maintain some space, but unless they pull Bartak away from A or pull Zeralt back from that B side, might have to go back and pick up that bomb, and that may not be necessary. Double kill from Cobra as they fight aggressively for that mid space. But they've conceded space on B, and Zeralt's already inside of market.
Well, that means he could very well just force Tiger into another save over here as well. That single kill means Tiger probably should consider backing up. There's almost no chance for him to win this round. Zeralt didn't clock it. I think it might be one of his teammates might have said it, but he did definitely see him. If nothing else, the Tiger, he's been shaky all game long, and this round's no different. That 1v2 was ambitious to start with.
Yeah, it was that they took too long to get the plant. So, tempted in. Understood maybe that bomb would have to make a long journey to link up with Zeralt. The Huns are finding the openings, and they are closing that gap. Money's not great for Rare Atom, and so they will be forced in a position to save this round. See Summer go in with a half buy, which is honestly quite expensive. Could have gone with a P250 and no head armor and saved a little.
Well, that could have been scarier.
Yeah. Good control.
Speaking of good control, they're able to get a quick succession of frags on this A site, and Lihang shouldn't be able to do too much about it. He's a good hand with the pistols, I'll give you that, Michael, but you need more than a good hand when you've got this many people to slap. You need a machine gun of a hand.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that this is becoming as close as it is. I mean, Rare Atom have been by far the more dominant force throughout this map, but in these past couple of rounds where we've seen, you know, Score get that impact, we've seen Zeralt and some of the plays he's made. I mean, the Cobra double in the round gone by as well. These have been swinging moments where the Huns have actually taken this game kind of by the horns. And should they deal with this upcoming half buy that Rare Atom seem to have planned, there's some real runway where they can tie things up. So there was a tactical pause here for Rare Atom discussing their options.
I don't love the degree of investment, but of course they're going to be fine in the next round regardless. Now, I just really want to see Tiger having a play constructed around him on the AWP, right? He's obviously had a bad time. He's also been, you know, non-existent in middle. It's always been Lihang looking for a play, even if it's not always successful. Child King obviously setting up a couple of plays. Summer's had his moments on connector as well. But for now, it might be a chance for another half-by win as Tiger and Marek have struck through the entire assault of the Huns. Bartek is now playing containment and he cannot contain himself. It's a 1v4 for Zarot. He's wondering how he ended up here, and he's found out it is shots. And no, this isn't an American party.
Am I crazy? I mean, how did Tiger get his hands on an ult from the one player going up cat? Well, we have a player running up cat with an ult by himself?
Michael, sometimes it's fine to say the world is crazy and you're not.
It's hyper unusual. I mean, they're going for a fast B pop. The first player dies, and that's rough for their scaling. But then they get caught by their own flashes. They don't make it out the window. Oh, I mean, this is just a knockout punch. They should not have lost that previous round. It blew up in their face, and now this round is going no better. In the blink of an eye, a 1-on-4 thrust upon Zeralt, where the momentum, the game felt like it was coming back into the Huns' favor, where they could have threatened all 3 maps in this series. Instead, it will finally fall flat. Rare Atom 2-0 over the Huns. They will get that fateful rematch versus the Chingus Warriors in the finals.
We continue to have this be a time for the VRS impact to be unparalleled for this Asia Cup, but the Huns have just become a casualty. I mean, I have to say, the amount of force buys that Rare Atom win on the CT side, look, it's one thing to lose against T-side force buys. I think that's a lot more excusable than losing to CT side ones again and again and again. They must have won 3 force buys in that second half, Michael.
Yeah, and, you know, it was a bit tit for tat at the start of the game for force buy win to force buy loss, and, you know, some of it is you won't have all the nades you want. Sometimes you're going with Galils or Mac 10s, and those aren't necessarily the best weapons, but they can be quite good. It felt a bit blow for blow. So I think both teams were kind of in similar spots where, you know, dealing with those force buys wasn't their forte. But it's something that Rare Atom will have to reflect on in that final, because they'll have another swing at the Chingus Warriors while the Huns, unfortunately, bow out.
Yeah, if they want to be trying to compete for the ESL Pro League spot, they will have to come back in the next Asia Cup, which will be happening in a couple of weeks from now. Of course, I would expect to see them there. They have had their own hiccups, obviously, in the upper bracket as well, losing to a team that they probably never should have. Now losing out to a Rare Atom with Marek in it. Yes, Marek had a pretty good performance actually today, I think, on Mirage and on Ancient. Ancient was flashy, Mirage was impactful. You saw some of those anchoring performances, even in that second last round of a hit with the MP9. He was delivering multi-kills, but it's still not a loss you are allowed to have. And I'm sure the Huns feel that way as well.
Yeah, and so we can see how this bracket has developed. I mean, Rare Atom make it into that upper bracket final against the Chingus Warriors, only to find themselves against other Mongolian counterparts, only for them to answer 2-0 themselves. So that fateful rematch, Chingus Warriors versus Rare Atom in that grand final, will be quite a good one. This is back-to-back ESL Challenger League Season 50 Asia Cups, where Rare Atom has made it into that final, but against Lin Vision, they got close, but they did not pull through. Rare Atom are hoping that the second swing of things in this cup to get into that regional qualifier, to get in for a chance to make it to ESL Pro League is still on the cards. And they'll only hope that the second time over it goes better for them.
Dude, if Mari keeps on integrating the way he has been, I could see this being an incredibly interesting finals. Of course, for you to be able to watch out towards that finals, that'll be coming up tomorrow. I do believe I will should double check that in a second. But of course, that's not to say that we're done with the ESL Challenger League for today. Not at all. There's going to be South America, North America, and Europe coming up next. Europe will be the soonest from now in about an hour and 45 minutes. It continues to be an incredibly tense time in the entire Counter-Strike scene, be it because of VRS points or Tier 1 invites. ESL Pro League is going to be a critical point in the calendar for any of these teams, and they do not want to miss it. Rare Atom already en route, like we already mentioned. Of course, over towards the European side, we're going to be shifting over there in just a while. But Michael, I've got to say, are we... I have to ask you this question, Michael, because I'd like to get this from you on record. Last season, we saw the Huns capitulate at the RMR. We saw them just completely break apart for the entire season after that. Am I wrong to think that this could be signs of something similar?
I wouldn't put it that far. I think they've got enough pieces. They've got enough veterancy. They've got the youth with them as well. In that, these pieces can be much better. They can be more potent. I wouldn't expect that to affect them coming into this upcoming major cycle. But also, to answer your previous question, the final is tomorrow. It will be Saturday, same time as we got our games rolling today. And it will be a really, really strong game, I imagine, from both teams, because there's things to like about both of them.
Well, there's things to like about you, Michael. It isn't your name, unfortunately, but it's Michael, Yumi, Cassidy, and myself, Tita. We're signing out of Asia. We're going to be back very soon with Europe in about an hour and a half. Make sure you guys tune back in for that one as well. We'll see you guys very soon.
Damn, guys, we almost had this.
Thank God it's over.
Bored of endless matchmaking? Take your first step towards ECL, experiencing real strategies against teams of your skill. Learn more at fce.gg/ECL.
ESL presents ESL Challenger League in partnership with Intel, Acer Predator, DHL, and Qiddiya.
Sometimes you gotta pray for a victory. Yeah, I'm overzealous when I'm thinking about the cash flow. I never had no handouts, just came natural. I've been tested so much, all these wrestlers nice. All these different situations that I've been through. I seen pain trying to creep in through the window, but now I'm sliding through the hood in a benzo. You gotta separate yourself just to elevate. I keep some drink in my cup to see through the hate. Sometimes on the road to glory, you gotta press the brakes. I got a lesson plan for all my past mistakes. I swear I'm proud of all my best and my worst days. Proud of on my feet when I touch the ground. Front of 8 at Beijing, man, they know the sound. I know I made mistakes, but my mama proud. Fans scream my lyrics out in the background. They ain't know me then, but I'm hot now. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. This life down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. I'm faced with a lot of different choices these days. Do a rock and roll, Lex